They are the Blues Brothers, but for Wayne Gretzky and Brett Hull, that perfect harmony has been elusive. There have been signs of an emerging chemistry, but the magic has been halted by injury, though the great one returns today. In the season finale, the Blues Brothers will look to orchestrate a winning song. Flying high in Chicago, a pair of Blackhawks and two of the NHL's best defensemen. Gary Suter, a hard-driving force to the blue line with 20 goals. And superstar Chris Chelios, the game's best all-around defenseman in the heart of the Chicago Blackhawks. There are 20,500 seats for hockey here in the United Center. They will all be filled today, and then some. SRO in the UC. Hello again, everybody. Pat Foley and Mickey Redmond from the United Center, where the Blackhawks play host to the St. Louis Blues. And the Blackhawks, Gary Suter today, if he gets 2 points, will finish second in scoring. Chris Chelios leads the Chicago scoring list. It's never happened before the two blue liners are 1-2 in a team's point parade. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks have been sort of meandering down the stretch. They're 8 and 7 in the last 15 games, in part because they have been locked into the third seed in the West for some time. That is not the case, though, for the St. Louis Blues, Mick. Their playoff fate very much still up in the air.
It certainly is, Pat. To win today, they go into fourth spot, and, of course, home ice advantage. They could end up in eighth with a lot of things that happened today with other games. They don't want that to face Detroit. And to help them get that win today, they've got number 99 back in the lineup after missing several games with a bad back. Brett Hull is just back in the lineup a couple of games ago after hamstring problems, and Shane Corson after a jaw problem. They're all back in the lineup. Mike Keenan will reunite them as the number one line for the St. Louis Blues.
Grant Fuhr, 33 years of age, in his 15th season in the National Hockey League, 320 career victories. And here come the numbers for this year. Everybody who has been around the St. Louis team will tell you he has been the Blues MVP this season. And Ed Belfour will be the workhorse for the Blackhawks in the postseason, most likely. He's 30 years old. 190 career wins for the Eagle. He has a winning record in his career against St. Louis, and here are his numbers for this season. And he and Jeff Hackett have shared the duties for the better part of regular season play. But down the stretch, Coach Craig Hartsburg has indicated the Eagle will be the man. Here we go now as the draw is cleared into the St. Louis zone. Andy Van Helleman is your referee today. The linesmen are Dan McCourt and Dan Shakti. As the Blues, Larson clearing it deep into the Hog zone. Chelios sending it around the boards. Joe Murphy on right wing to Nicholls. He chips it to center, and Enrico Ciccone fires a long knuckleball that Fuhr blocks to the corner. Corson there, bouncing it back the other way. Captured by Ciccone under pressure from Hull. Looking for Nicholls along the boards. McInnes checked in. It came to the slot. Ciccone jumped on it, then mishandled it, but gets help from Nicholls. Bernie Nicholls for Murphy. He gains the line. Murphy center one, then got it back. He stops and tried to stop too quickly and went down. And the puck cleared back the other way. It's going to be icing against St. Louis. Mickey, it is not particularly likely, but it is possible that these two teams could lock up starting Wednesday night in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoff.
That would be, Pat, the least likely, I guess, of all of them. But if it's possible, you know what'll happen in the NHL. Mike Keenan is just happy to get his injured players back in the lineup and be able to try to get a regular type lineup, if you will, or a consistent lineup back together for starting out. He has accumulated a bunch of veteran players, and certainly they need some time to get used to each other when the playoffs start. And look at that mess. 79, 79, 79, 79. They're all over the place. And if the Blues straight out win this hockey game, they've already won 2 here in Chicago this year, they end up in fourth spot, play the fifth place team, whoever that would be, with home ice advantage. So that's a big, big difference, Pat, than finishing eighth and having the Detroit Red Wings as your first round opponent.
Young Chris Pronger will send one to the Hawk line. Gary Suter's there. Bouncing it out to center, and Pronger throws it back into Chicago ice. Blues making some changes on the go as Suter tries to get the Hawk breakout organized. Fires a bank pass to center, and Black captures there. Steps over the line. James Black left it for Eric Daze. He center one, but Black too well covered in the slot. And that will roll it back to the center ice area. The Blackhawk blue line prospects carrying it into the St. Louis end of the ice, and veteran Charlie Huddy looks for Noonan on right wing. Ryan Noonan slides it across. Here's Creighton over the line, offside is the call. Head coach Craig Hartsburg and Mickey Redmond has had a terrific rookie season behind the Chicago Blackhawk bench. His team at the moment 12 games over the 500 mark. I believe he will be, or should be anyway, one of the 3 candidates for Coach of the Year honor.
You know, he came in here, Pat, very quietly. Was a strong leader and took control of this hockey club, and it's his club. There isn't any question about it. And he's just, you know, I think it's been a great year for this hockey club. They've gone through a time here in the last month and a half where they've been pretty much stuck in 3rd position and nowhere to go. There's been some concerns about intensity and momentum, what have you, but I think a lot of that's kind of settled down now that the playoffs are just around the corner.
And the team has played reasonably well considering those circumstances.
Yeah.
Really very little to play for in terms of postseason positioning. They've been locked into the 3rd seed for over a month now. Here's Probert centering, a little too hot to handle for Shant. And back into the Hog zone it goes. Ivan Dropa is 24 years old. This pass deflecting, and Leach battles back in there. Leach into the corner, tried to center. Lines up in behind the goal, and Chelios comes out of there with it. And bounced it into the St. Louis zone. Al McGinnis up the right side for Leach, whose touch pass is offside, and the whistle sounds. We are early and scoreless in the United Center. Back in a moment with the NHL on Fox.
Another big Sunday afternoon crowd here at the United Center, taking advantage of all the amenities that this building has to offer, Pat, and they certainly have their share, don't they?
There are plenty.
Boy,
they did
boy.
not miss a trick when they put this thing together. It is a sparkling facility. In my opinion, the best of all the new ones in the National Hockey League. Here's Dubinsky trying to muscle in there. Down he goes. And the play goes on. Then Dubinsky crashing into the net. And the whistle sounds.
Looked like any penalty on the play. Andy Van Hellemond, a veteran guy who will let the players play. Doesn't like him freezing the puck. Will talk to the players, tell them to move it. Will not blow that whistle unless he absolutely has to. I think players would like it that way. The one thing about Van Hellemond, he's consistent, and that's the one thing a player wants. Here's McInnes with a veteran move, getting Dubinsky to go down without drawing the penalty.
The key, I'm sure, in Van Hellemond's mind there, McInnes kept his legs moving. If you go in the spread and lay your stick on the guy like that, you're going to get a penalty. But McInnes kept skating and thereby avoided the call. Here's the draw.
A lot of people, Pat, are holding their breath and wondering when the playoffs start, how are these rules going to be called? How aren't they going to be called? I think it's going to be a major factor in the outcome of some of these playoffs, whether they get it to the referees or not. Mandate says, yes, they want it done. We'll see.
They want it to be kept the same. That's what the supervisors have been saying. They want it to call the same Tuesday and Wednesday as it has been all year. Here's Ciccone moving in. His pass hit a leg to Dubinsky, and he couldn't pull the trigger out of the near side, and Ethan Morrow wrestles along the boards with Leach, and the puck squirts free and into Chicago territory. Here's Chelios rolling it up the right side. Joe Murphy trying to move in. Stops, takes a look for the trailer. There is none. The Hawks were changing. And now here comes Carney to help. He mishandled it. Murphy carries on center. Dubinsky! And a save by Fuhr. Rebound controlled by nobody at them. The Blues able to get to it, and Barron outlets to Hull. Brett Hull rolled it over the line. Gretzky let his pass elude Hull. Now in behind the goal. Brett Hull tried to center, but nobody home in front for St. Louis. And Tony Amonte chipped it back to the center ice area. Kravchuk's pass deflected by Hull. And Carney able to gather it in for Chicago. To the right side, it missed everybody, sliding back into St. Louis territory. And the youngest member of the Blues, Chris Pronger, 21 years old. That's bumped by Amonte, then lost it. Here's Nicholls, out to the line, Suter. His long shot tipped, deflected to the goal crease off a Blues player. And into the corner now, out to the line. There's Carney. Gets the puck to settle down, tried to feed Murphy. That was a chin-high pass, pretty tough to handle. Across the You want me to catch it or eat it? Right in front of the Blues bench there, banging bodies aggressively, but the play continues as they separate, and Kravchuk works to the Hawk line, then lost it. Carried down by Anderson. He was checked. Now Anderson again. We'll have to scoop one in. Army's on it. Put it up the boards. Nicholls. Gets help from Suter. Rink wide on the money for Black. Steps in there. Fires. And a save by Fuhr. Rebound in behind. Daze trying to slide it in front, but the Hawks didn't have anybody in the slot. And back at center, Gary Suter. Gave it to Dennis Savard. This pass didn't connect. And the Blues. Wells was stopped by Black. Then it came loose to Creighton. Hits the line. Creighton moves in on Suter. A spinorama. He scores! What a goal by Adam Creighton! A spinorama to the backhand, and he whipped it past Belfour. A magnificent goal from Creighton makes it 1-0 Blues.
Blues haven't had much for offense at all in this hockey game, and all of a sudden, big Adam Creighton is a problem for Gary Suter. He does not play the body on him, and it was a nice move. I guess you got to give Creighton some credit there for making a good, creative move, and Suter just couldn't react quick enough, and he beat Belfour. He had some mustard on that backhand. And Adam Creighton, who I guess at times is not real happy playing for Mike Keenan. He hasn't been in the past. Plays well for Mike Keenan. He certainly did that in the past in Chicago, Pat. He had his best year ever in the National Hockey League.
That's the 11th goal of the year for Adam Creighton, unassisted at the 6:16 mark. And off the draw, the Hawks have iced one. Well, you said it, big Adam Creighton. Mickey played with the Blackhawks when Mike Keenan was the coach here, and there were more than a couple of occasions where they did not see eye to eye. You know, those big guys like Creighton often look like they're not working as hard as maybe they are, because it takes them less motion to get to where they need to go. But Adam's sort of one of those loosey-goosey guys, and Mike Keenan is anything but that. He's wrapped a little tighter than
a wee bit.
Yeah, Adam Creighton normally is. So
Mike Keenan is known to be hard on people, and certainly, you know, nobody takes that very well. But Adam Creighton used to fight back in his own way, I guess. But certainly Mike Keenan was able to get the best out of Adam Creighton, and certainly even Adam Creighton can't argue with that.
That, by the way, the 400th point in Creighton's career. This is 13th year in the NHL. Big guy with a long reach who can be very effective, particularly the year you mentioned that he had his best year ever. He was very effective on the power play, being able to fend off checkers and still maintain control of the puck with that long reach.
Yeah. Well, much like Daze, you got Primo in Detroit. Those guys are hard to get the puck from. Protected so well with their body and reach.
Now Brian Noonan around a check shoot. Belfour stopped it. Going to be a penalty as Russell took down Noonan. And the Blues, having just scored, now will get the game's first power play. So St. Louis with a 1-0 lead, looking to add to it.
Cam Russell to the box for the Chicago Blackhawks. Pretty good bite on Brian Noonan, another former Chicago Blackhawk. First power play of the game to the Blues.
Igor Kravchuk's pass deflected by Carney, and it came loose to Amati. Tony Amati looking to waste a little time, playing keep away from everybody. And then clears at the length. The Blackhawk penalty killing Mickey's been very strong all season long, but of late, especially a couple of games this week against Detroit, they've been lit up. They've given up 8 in the last 30. Time short. Now they battle away, and the Hawks able to get control with Nicholls clearing it.
The St. Louis power play has struggled all year long, and it's increased to 21% from 17 overall since Wayne Gretzky came to St. Louis.
He got it to McInnes, whose shot doesn't get through. Thorson battles with his good friend Chelios behind the net. Then Hull came out of there with it. Red Hull to Kravchuk, banks it to Corson's side of the net. Now Gretzky He slipped it in front. Oh, Belfour, I think, might have gotten a piece of that as Hall was moving up the middle of the ice. Now Hall far down. Fires! Belfour the save. Rebound, Kearney. And Keith Kearney put it to the boards, and McInnes held it in, flipped it toward the net, deflecting inches wide of the near post. Now Gretzky for Hall. The pass deflected by Chelio. Out to the line, McInnes. Put it across, Kravchuk shooting. Belfour wants to hang on to this one. The Blues generating a lot on this power play. Now we got a problem.
That's Corson when he's wearing the face mask, coming off a broken jaw. And it's Kearney, I think, one guy. Can't tell who the other Hawk was. Just drilling Corson. And, of course, Corson isn't going to wait too long to return it. He's a rugged player.
Mickey, Chris Chelios and Shane Corson played together in Montreal. I touched on it. They are friendly, but you've seen it many times before. When you get on the ice, there are no buddies.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I should have known better. Who was the other Hawk in the middle of that? Chelios not giving any ground to his buddy at all. And Kearney came in for a little reinforcement, but I remember the days when Bobby Hull played for the Hawks and had the broken jaw, and he came with a mask on, and the big the guard, the football guard, and Bugsy Watson from Montreal went after him, and boy, the fans in Chicago thought that was just the end of the world. How could you ever do that? Now, of course, Bugsy liked to disturb, and of course, in rubbing that jaw, he couldn't eat anything, of course, but the soft foods for about 12 days. And the first thing he did, when he got the wires off the jaw and the teeth, he went for a good old-fashioned hot dog with the mustard and the relish. So he had to lose some weight over that period of time, and Brett Hull had a good scoring chance. Belfour in perfect position to play it off the chest. Blues almost make it 2-0 there.
Brett Hull missed some time with a bad hamstring, but a team that has struggled so badly on offense desperately need him to be playing at full strength and with his normal effectiveness.
He came back into the game last week against Winnipeg, Pat, after missing those games. Scored both goals. Winnipeg tied that game with 5 seconds left. Ended up being a big point. Now they clinch.
Will Murphy jams it loose. He's got a body, a breakaway. Tony Moniello, short-handed shooting. Mishandled it. Never did get rid of the shot. He likes that move. Faking to the backhand. Try to pull it back to the forehand. He usually executes it, but didn't get a shot on goal this time. Here comes Creighton. Turning in behind the goal. Rubbed off by Ciccone. Meanwhile, the Hawk penalty over. And both teams are at full strength. As Joe Murphy pulled it to center ice. Zezel needs some help. His teammates were changing on the go, and now the Blues able to dump it in. Geoff Courtnall put it to the corner. Anderson couldn't get there, and Daze outlet to Savard. Got a little difficulty at the neutral zone. Suter got there to help. Now James Black. Looks for Daze, who pushed it in deep. Charlie Huddy on it for St. Louis. On the right side, and Glenn Anderson. Gave it to Zezel. Now Courtnall rolled it nicely over the line to Anderson. Fires it. Didn't get through. Russell made a good shot block. Back to the goal. Courtnall centered it. And a nice play in front of the net by Russell as he tied up the stick of veteran sniper Glenn Anderson. Here's Daze. His pass was picked off. Anderson right back in there. Works his way to the side of the net. Slips it in front. Courtnall missed it. Now Creighton a shot. And a save by Belfour. Rebound to Daze. He got it to Probert. Probert fires a long one that hit McInnes. And now a crazy hop along the far side results in the Hawks keeping it in. And McInnes changes that by firing it back into Chicago territory. Bouncing puck, Creighton. Unable to corral it. And Probert gets help from Ciccone in the Chicago zone. Now Cummins on right wing. Able to bounce it to center ice. And now McInnes fires a long one. Belfour steers it to the corner. McTavish after it there. Sidesteps a hit. And trying to get away from Ciccone. McTavish got help from Leach in behind. Leach slipped it right through the goal crease, and Belfour able to grab it and hang on. And Kearney and McTavish get the elbows raised. But no damage done as the officials get in there quickly. Pat Foley and Mickey Redmond in the United Center, which is packed today, and they have seen the Blues get off to a good start. St. Louis has outshot Chicago 7-2, and they've got the game's only goal. Adam Creighton's 11th. They did give an assist on that goal to Jay Wells eventually, the 6:16 mark of the opening period.
First 10 minutes, Pat, like going being at Sunday school compared to the last 3 games that the Hawks have played. They've been real brawling games with Detroit and Toronto.
Yeah.
Very, very quiet that way. Again, the Blues, with a win today, can end up in 4th spot with home ice advantage. Chicago, of course, is in 3rd, and wait to see who their opponent's going to be.
If the Blues lose, they can do anything from stay where they are in 5th or drop all the way to 8th, as Mickey pointed out. And I don't think anybody would be too anxious about playing Detroit in the first round of the playoffs. A marvelous season the Red Wings have had. Here's Danton Cole looking for Dubinsky, who got it to center, and Ivan Dropa sends it in. Radchuk. Run around by Dubinsky, then it's stolen by Cole. Danton Cole. The long flip shot is stopped by Fuhr. Rebound in behind the goal. Pronger battling there with help from McTavish, who gave it away. Cole on the far side. Put in behind the net. Ethan Morrow against Pronger. Able to pry it free. And it came in front. Cole a backhand. He just missed the post with that. And behind the goal goes Dubinsky against McTavish. He kicked it loose. Cole put it back around the boards. Chased down by Basil McRae. And eventually the Blues able to get it to center. Stephen Leach was checked by Dropa. And Kravchuk carries on. The line, a long wrist shot blocked into the corner by Belfour. And Dropa hammers it back to the Blues line. McInnes had his pass knocked out of the air with a high stick. Amante reluctant to touch it because if he does, the whistle will sound. But the Blues are next to touch it. And play continues. 15-year veteran Al McInnes had his pass deflected. Nicholls, far dot, out to the line. Chelios, but it's a Suter. His long wrist shot didn't get past James Corson, and the Blues McInnes moved it ahead to the great one. Bounced one over the line. Corson trying to center it. Didn't get to Gretzky. He kicked it loose and just missed Hall in the slot. Then Hall got hacked by Chelios. Didn't appreciate it. Turned to say something to him. The play goes back into the other end. Around along the boards, and the Hawks offside on the play. 1-0. St. Louis leading Chicago on Fox.
There's a man that's about set every record. The National Hockey League's got 2,500 plus points coming into this year. And he's very quietly, in a way, managed another 100-point season, Pat.
I tell you, it's been a tumultuous year, obviously, for Gretzky, and indeed, another 100-point season.
Wow. I believe that's his 15th time. And this is 18th professional season. And he's been 100 points or better.
Well, the Blues, Courtnall able to feed Zezel. He's got a man busting on the right side. That's Anderson, who kicks to the stick, shooting. Belfour stopped it, juggling. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Able to fighten that one off and get control eventually.
Speaking of records, the guy that just let that shot go, Glenn Anderson, of course, has been overseas the last couple of years, on and off, coming back into the NHL. Went with Mike Keenan and the Rangers when they won the Cup in '94. And Anderson came into this year with 492 goals. He did not come over to St. Louis until late in the year. He's got 6 goals, so he needs 2 for that magic 500 number. He was part of the great Edmonton teams in the '80s with all their Stanley Cups. Now 35 years old.
Eric Daze, the right wing boards. Sends it in. And down goes Savard, a penalty. Coming up against the Blues as the forechecking Savard had his feet taken from under him, and Zezel's going to have a seat.
The Hawks will get their first crack at the power play. Look at the left side of your screen. You'll see the hook right there by Peter Zezel. Not much of a decision for the referee to make on a play like that. And the Hawks go with 6:03 to go in the period. An attempt to tie this game. 1-0 for the Blues. Take a look here at what we call the playbook on the old hockey rink that we used to play, Pat, for fun, called the umbrella power play. And we'll show you some actual footage of real players doing it, working around the outside, the top, over to the other side, back to the top, back to the other side again, into the middle, and into the net. And boy, that's the way to do it. Make it look easy, don't you?
Nicholls, he scores! Bernie Nicholls, a one-timer from Gary Suter. And Suter now tied for second place on the Hawks scoring list as Nicholls pumped home a one-timer from close range. We're tied at 1.
Well, the Hawks show you a little bit of what we were looking at right there on the outside. And Bernie Nicholls, who has extra pressure on him to score goals with Jeremy Roenick out of the lineup, somehow finds a way to squeeze it through Grant Fuhr to tie this game just seconds after the penalty to Peter Zezel. Bernie all alone, time to let it go. He one-times it off the pass from the blue line.
Suter and Chelios get the helpers on the 19th of the year for Bernie Nicholls and his 457th career goal. The Hawks come through on the power play. That's something they've struggled with all year long, Mickey, but lately now, the last couple of weeks, the Hawks power play unit is starting to convert more often than they had in the first 70 games or so. That's a great sign for Chicago coming into the playoffs. Chuck for the Blues to Pronger. Looking for Noonan. He's well covered by Shantz, and Probert steals it. His pass deflected, then it's held in. Here's Russell, a long shot. You never knew where that was, but it deflected wide. Cummins battling with Pronger. And then Matteau knocked the man down from behind. He's going to get a penalty as Jeff Shantz was driven head first almost into the corner, and Matteau will put the Blues short a man for the second straight time.
Nobody's happy on Sunday afternoon. A lot of chin music with players and officials, and I told complainant Andy Van Helleman, but Andy's one of the old timers, Pat, and he does not like, because he refereed this game when the sticks were down and there wasn't hitting from behind like there is today, and that cross-checking like that. And even though that wasn't much of a shove or a cross-check really, it looked probably worse than it was. It was a situation that could have been dangerous with a guy 4 or 5 feet from the boards, and he goes down head first with that neck, you know, in danger of maybe breaking if you hit that head on the board. That's a play that just doesn't need to be in the game.
Can't have it. Got to call it every time. Here's the draw to Murphy. He left it for Chelios. Now Suter. Harry Suter takes a look. Put it to Chelios. Now Murphy losing a disciplined box defense here. Side of the goal, Amani. He was tied up along the boards by McInnes. Amani jammed it loose to the line eventually, in Suter. Put it to Nicholls. Nicholls, top of the ring, looking. Wants Murphy to move to the middle. He does. He shoots. Big save by Fuhr. Boy, Nicholls just directing traffic there. Told Murphy where to go. He did. Nicholls got him the puck for a good chance. Now Nicholls to the near corner. Jammed it loose to Suter. Now Chelios shoots one to Nicholls. His shot is deflected by Barron beautifully. Now along the boards, Hull. Tied up by Suter. And then Hull able to win the puck and clear it back into the Chicago zone. A minute remaining on the Chicago power play. Chelios gains the line. Put it to Nicholls, who dropped it to Suter. Across for Chelios. Centered one. It didn't get through the box to Nicholls. And winds up back at center. Giving ground under pressure from Leach. Now Chelios has it. Leading Suter. Harry Suter's pass deflects, and the Blues clear it. And there'll be time for one more power play run for Chicago. Suter Savard to center. And it's Savard weaving to the line, leaves it for Probert. He couldn't get away from Gretzky. Back to center ice it goes. And the St. Louis penalty over. Both teams are at full strength. Savard in the Blues and trying to slip it in front. Missing Probert, however. Puck cleared. Back to the center ice area. Ciccone puts it in there. Kravchuk put it up in the near side. It took a funny hop to Gretzky. Now Mateau. Can't get the puck to settle down. Now he does. Mateau moved it to Gretzky over the line. And then he threw a pass outside the zone.
Mike Keenan double shifted Gretzky here. Pat, he's got him out with Anderson and Mateau, not Hull and Corson.
Anderson with it along the board. For Mateau in behind. He got it to the great one who's centered, but nobody home for St. Louis in the slot. And Savard chips it back into Blues territory. Did he get enough bite on it? He did. No icing. The square Drew's stick working real good.
Drew's going.
Must be a lot of puck. And the Chicago zone. Game loose. Here's Noonan shooting. And a save by Belfour. And he holds on. With 2 minutes remaining in the opening period, we're now tied at 1. This replay being brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Well, we showed you the old hockey board game on the umbrella power play. There's Nicholls back to the point to Suter, back to Nicholls. Watch Bernie. He waves Joe Murphy into the middle. There he goes. There comes the pass. Boom to the net. Good scoring chance. Exactly the way the old board drew it up, Pat.
Bernie Nicholls. The old diagram in the sand, the football play. Where do you want the receiver to go?
I remember those old board games.
Now they battle in behind the Chicago net, and Cummins able to capture. In Cummins for James Black, offside as the pass was at his feet. James Black has played pretty well for Craig Hartsburg's Hawks since he was recalled from Indianapolis, where he'd had a solid year leading the Indianapolis team in scoring in the IHL. And Black is 26 years old, and he's really raised some eyebrows in the Blackhawk coaching staff.
Got good speed, Pat, this kid. I mean, of course, this game anymore today is all about speed.
And a great shot he's got. First intermission, James Brown and Dave Maloney will bring you all the scores from around the league, and Dave will have a look at Detroit's great goaltending debate. The question remains, will it be Vernon or Osgood in the playoffs? That and more in the first intermission. Now Nicholls able to get it to Carney, and his pass deflecting and winds up out of play. Since Wayne Gretzky arrived in St. Louis, Miggy, 17 games he's played with the Blues. He has been involved in almost half of the goals they've scored, 46%.
I may have came out like I misspoke a little bit. I want to clarify what I said. The Blues power play was 15% before Wayne Gretzky came to the team. It's functioned at 21% since his arrival, which gives him about a 17% overall rate, but 5-6% difference.
Hard shot by Joe Murphy, kicked aside by Fuhr. We go to the final minute of the period. Amani centered, and Nicholls had his stick tied up. Couldn't redirect it. Zessel comes out. And tips it in. Bernie Nicholls took a hit to clear it to Chelios. He rolled it out to center ice. Igor Kravchuk had his pass stolen by Amani. Now to Nicholls over the line. He's hounded by Zessel and couldn't go anywhere with it. And Kravchuk feeds Pronger to Anderson. Carney stands him up beautifully at center ice. He's flipped it ahead. Courtnall lost it to Bob Probert. Carney for the Blackhawks. Clear it to center. As you see the clock wind down here, approaching the end of the first period. Carney for Probert. His long shot is blocked, and that is going to do it for the first period here today in the United Center. So the Blackhawks falling behind St. Louis, and then managed to cash in on a power play opportunity to tie this game after 20 minutes of play. So we're through one in the United Center. Creighton for the Blues, Nicholls for the Blackhawks. They've done the scoring. Ed Foley and Mickey Redmond back with you, and two longtime rivals here. We were talking before the game. I'm not sure what the team is the biggest rival for the Chicago Blackhawks. If the Blues aren't number one, they're 1A.
Right down to I-94,
Yeah.
probably. Detroit Red Wings, the way the last couple of games were played this week, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We mentioned some tough games. We'll take a look at the first goals of the hockey game. The only two in the first 20 minutes. The first one by Big Adam Creighton, the Savardian Spinorama. Serge Savard of the old Canadians patented that one years ago, and Big Creighton used it on Suter, the defenseman. Beats Belfour with the backhander, and then our playbook example is almost put into use here by the Hawks. We talk about face-offs. How important are they? A clear win, back to the point, over to Nicholls. No time for either guy to handle a puck, and he one-times it by the veteran Grant Fuhr to tie the game at 1.
The Bud Ice first period summary is in front of you now. You see the shots on goal. The Blues at one time had a 7-2 edge. The Hawks closed that gap slightly, and not a lot of penalty time in that first 20 minutes of play. Next Sunday on the NHL on Fox, follow the Fox tracks as the race for the Stanley Cup begins. Don't miss all the action and excitement as the best players in the league vie for the most historic prize in all of sports. Coverage beginning at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox. Here we go with the second period. Hull, a quick shot, sails up off the glass, and Joe Murphy couldn't gain control of it. Now Chelios, and it loose to Nicholls. He looks for Murphy. Well, Murphy had defeated Rico Ciccone. He was hounded. Murray Barron got it to Hull on the right wing board. Brett Hull to the Hawk line, cranks a long one. Belfour gloves it, tries to play it to the near side. Wayne Gretzky. The center one, that's picked off by Ciccone, then he lost it. Oh, and then a fine recovery. Ciccone looked like he had about given the Blues a great scoring chance, but recovered with a chop to the stick to prevent it. And now Courtnall is deep in the Hawk zone, leaving for Anderson. And Anderson to Peter Zezel. Zezel against Carney. And then rolls loose on the boards, and Probert took a hack at it, jammed it loose to Savard. He put it to Daze, over line back to Savard. He's in! He looks, he shoots! And it rolled off the end of his stick. He sort of shanked it. I don't think he ever had full control off of that nice return pass from Daze. Now, Carney for Daze. Brings wide on the money to Probert. Fires! And he shot it wide. It bounced to Courtnall. He was stopped by Gary Suter. Into the Blues zone it goes. Charlie Huddy under pressure from Probert, then Daze steals center. Savard! He put it over top of the goal. Second great chance on this shift for Savard off Daze passes. Now Courtnall. Puts one over the stick of Noonan. And Ivan Dropa comes it into St. Louis territory. And this will be ruled an icing call against the Blues. Or the Blackhawks, I should say.
Pretty passive first period, Pat. A lot of folks are happy to see that. The last game of the season. Denny Savard is not going to miss too many like this. That's you point out a couple of good passes, and another one by Daze made to Probert on the far side, 80 feet wide. But Savard, throughout his illustrious career, doesn't miss too many like that. He kind of looks like he was struggling with that puck all the way, and he just flubbed it wide of the net.
99 points in his brilliant career for Savard against the St. Louis Blues in 83 games. And he arrived back to the Blackhawks late last season, right before the trading deadline. He turned into the best player Chicago had in the postseason, and they're hoping for more of the same here starting on Wednesday when the Hawks open up against whoever.
He's a different player, isn't he, Pat, than
yes.
the first 10 years in Chicago here. He admits it, that they wanted goals out of Savard because he was the marquee guy, and then the trade to Montreal for Chris Chelios. And really, it was almost might call it a favor that Phil Esposito did for Denny Savard last year, allowing him to come back here the latter years of a wonderful career. Takes a lot better care of himself, Pat, now, like most of us. I think from 15, 20 years ago, a little more aware of what's good and bad for you, and amazing.
You guys are doing this all backwards. You're a mess when you were playing.
It's amazing how you get smarter when your parents get older. You're right. That is the wrong way around.
Here's Chelios bouncing it out to center, and Amani chips it in, but Murphy was ahead of the play. He'll have to let it go, and Barron comes out for the Blues. Back into Chicago territory. Too short at center. That's going to be icing against St. Louis.
You're right. We should have taken better care of ourselves when we played and wait until we're finished to kind of let it loose a little bit.
Hey, Chris Chelios, I don't think we've mentioned yet. That assist in the first period that he picked up was his 58th assist of the year. That ties his own record for most helpers in a season for a Blackhawk defenseman.
Now that also, talking of your point, Pat, on the top of the show, Suter with the assist on the Bernie Nicholls goal ties him with Roenick at 67 points, and this is the last game for everybody today, so if we get one more, first time the two defensemen lead, and it's obvious that if the big guy Roenick was in uniform and healthy, that he's going to probably have 90 to 100 plus points in a season with his abilities.
Well, Chelios very quick to point that out. If Roenick had been healthy all year, and Nicholls, there'd be very little chance that the two defensemen would be 1-2 in scoring, but that's the way things have shaken down.
Now, 20 years from now, they say, like going end to end after you get a lucky goal. 20 years later, you beat 5 guys, beat the goalie, put it in the top corner. In reality, it banked in off somebody's skate.
Now it bounces loose to Jeff Shantz. He cuts to the net, shoots one. Fuhr was standing along the near post and made the stop. Now Chris Pronger, who is the only man under 24 years of age on this team. Pronger, he clears it back the other way. And it's going to be icing against the Blues early in the second period. We're still tied in Chicago. Face-off coming to the right of Grant Fuhr in the St. Louis zone as Chris Chelios and Gary Suter making a bid to become the first ever defenseman to be 1-2 in a team scoring list. Suter with one more point would make that happen. Chelios is going to lead the Hawks scoring list. He'll be the first defenseman ever to top the Blackhawk point parade. Now to Adam Creighton chasing for it, unable to catch up into the near board, and Mateau. And it's a jam it to center. Creighton taps it ahead to Noonan over the line. He leaves it. McInnes on drive, and it's saved by Belfour, and that big blast from Al McInnes. Now Savard the other way looking to counter. Rolled it to Suter over the line. He moves in, centered it. Right to the slot it went. Nobody could redirect it. And Creighton over the line to Mateau. His drop pass, and McInnes tried to flip it ahead. It didn't work. And now Daze got it to Kearney. Leading Savard. And then Daze sliding it into St. Louis ice. Chris Pronger able to work his way all the way to the Hawk line and then send it in. Danton Cole up by Basil McRae. It's held by Kravchuk, but his shot goes wide, and Ethan Moreau able to bounce it back to center. Now Ciccone. That spun around. Chelios there to help out. Moved it to Moreau. Ethan Moreau's pass is deflected to Igor Kravchuk. And now Ciccone has it. And the Blues Pronger will send it in. Chelios battling McRae on the end boards. And Gretzky just slipped it loose. Here's Leach moving in, shoots. And that stopped by the Eagle on the short side. Rebound to the corner, Chelios. Fought off a hit, held the puck, and then Ciccone backhands it to the St. Louis line. Igor Kravchuk Steps in with a long wrist shot. Belfour gloving to Amani. He couldn't get it out. Charlie Huddy with a long blast. Belfour gloves that this time. He's going to settle things down.
Well, if you're just joining us late, St. Louis Blues and the Hawks tied 1-1, and the St. Louis team would love to win this hockey game. They can finish in 4th spot if they do and get home ice advantage and give this team that has changed about half its roster this year a chance to maybe get a playoff a round under its belt before they may have to go up against the likes of the Red Wings, Colorado, or the Chicago team. There's still a possibility they can play Chicago starting Wednesday night.
Mickey, those 3 teams you mentioned, the only 3 over 500 in the Western Conference. But starting Tuesday, everybody's record is 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. Winnipeg plays tonight in Anaheim, and that game, or the outcome of game, could have a determining factor in who plays who, what position they end up in.
Shane Corson trying to center Carney in good position, jammed it loose. And the Blues veteran Jay Wells chasing it down. How about the experience out there for St. Louis now? Huddy and Wells. On the St. Louis defense, Wells in his 17th year, Charlie Huddy in his 16th. Here comes Corson. And a center one. Gretzky around to check, shoot. Belfour stopped it. Rebound, and Belfour stopped Anderson. In behind the goal, Zezel. Zezel centered one. It deflects all the way back to center ice.
Owen Anderson and Gretzky up front. Now the guy under 34.
We showed you that graphic earlier. Gretzky, as Belfour's the only netminder that he has not scored upon. Here comes Daze. He tried to split the defense. He did, but the puck rolled too far away to pull the trigger. And Geoff Courtnall able to clear it into Chicago territory. Anderson spinning Dropa to the corner. They both hit the deck. Now Courtnall with a bump from Russell. Zezel came away with it. Here's a backhander and a save by Belfour. Rebound back of the goal. Courtnall battling Savard. Geoff Courtnall in behind is Zezel. Russell put the clamps on him. And Savard gets help from Dropa. And Dropa cleared it to the near side. Daze centered one well in front of Probert. And the Blues failed to clear it. Now Daze bumped by Barron. And Probert in there. Gets help from Savard. On his backhand, Savard centered it and just missing Probert. And the puck is cleared back into the neutral area. Ciccone under pressure, able to poke it loose to Chelios. Now he put it on the stick of Savard. Weaving over the Blues line, chipped it to the coming player on the change, and James Black coming in a player change. And his shot deflect wide. Black got bumped along the boards, and Adam Creighton comes away for St. Louis to Noonan. He sends it in. Black bumped in behind the goal, but Chelios picked it up. Clears it back to center ice. Nigel McRae unable to advance it, and Chelios puts Black over the line. Black will take a long wrist shot and a save by Fuhr. Down to the near post. Chelios shoots. Oh, and Chance deflected it just wide of the near post. Back of the goal, Cummins centered it. And Chance had his stick tied up beautifully by Adam Creighton. Now McRae brings it back into Chicago ice. Chuck. Bounce one back of the net, Leach. Even Leach to McTavish. His wrist shot, and Belfour able to fight it off through a McRae screen. In behind the goal, the Blues working hard. Now Leach gets help from McRae. And he needs an assist from Leach, who centered one. Belfour blocked the pass. It rolls loose to Suter. He might have a break. Suter moving in on Huddy. Suter trying to dance around it, not this time. Charlie Huddy able to strip it away nicely. And we're already halfway through the second period. The game is still tied at 1 as the Blues have cleared at the length, and this will be icing against St. Louis. The Hawks and the Blues still in a 1-1 deadlock in the United Center. He's going to use one of those at the lunch table today.
You mean that pacifier?
The bib.
You're right. No nap for the youngsters in an afternoon game.
And the place full of them once again.
Into the candy floss and the pop and the sugar buzz and keep them awake.
Here's Joe Murphy. Bounce one ahead. Now battling with Barron. Roll loose into the corner. Thorson trying to lock up his man along the boards. Amani continuing to battle away. Nobody able to jam it loose yet. Only Hull bounced it out to center. Ciccone gets it up the right side, held in by Corson to the corner, and Gretzky trying to bank it off the side of the net back to himself. But he lifted it up off the mesh instead of hitting the bottom of the goal, which would have given him a good bounce. And now Ciccone able to clear it to center, and Nicholls. Bernie Nicholls, who has the lone Chicago goal into the St. Louis zone, but and Kravchuk picks it up the boards for the great one, and he tapped it back into Chicago territory, and it rolled farther than he would have liked, and icing the result.
You know, Pat, the way this game has been played here in more than 30 minutes, well, we'll get to that thought in a moment. Right now, we'll take a break. 1-1, Blues Hawks. 1-1, Hawks and Blues here. Mid-second period, 8:58 to go in the second. Pretty quiet so far, Pat. Quiet building, maybe the quietest I've seen it all year.
I think if it's not, it's one of the quietest games, certainly in terms of the noise within the arena. And now the Blues Pronger triggers one into the hog zone. Dropa chasing it down. Sends it around the boards, held it by Courtnall, centered, and it's deflected wide by Anderson. And Dropa gathers it in for the Blackhawks, and on the backhand lifts it over everybody's head. Back into St. Louis ice. Pronger put it off the glass, not out, but Kravchuk picked it up. Made it to Zezel. Rolling to Courtnall over the line. He left it for Anderson. Fires right on Belfour. Gave a rebound, and the Hawks able to get to it and help the Eagle. Smothers for the whistle.
It's the kind of a hockey game that somebody, Pat, can grab into their own hands. A guy like Brett Hull, a guy like Denis Savard. Take it and go with it, because it's been void of a lot of emotion. There hasn't been a whole lot on either side. And again, the Hawks are, you look at that last St. Louis opportunity, the Hawks are really just trying to stay out of trouble. They don't want to get hurt. They have nowhere to go, up or down. And let's just not play a loose hockey game, guys. Let's get it done. And sometimes when you ease up and you're not into it as mentally as you should be, it's when you do get hurt. You have to be careful with that. However, the Blues are trying to win this game, or at least tie it.
Yep.
A loss, and they immediately go to, at the very best, they go to 7th position, which means Colorado. And if Winnipeg should get a point or two tonight against Anaheim, the Blues would go into 8th place if they lose today and have to face Detroit. They won something, at least 1 point out of it.
Creighton trying to muscle in there, couldn't this time, and the puck is cleared. Back to center ice. The toe shooting it in. The Blackhawks Mickey today giving a couple of veterans a chance to rest the aches and pains. Eric Weinrich given the day off this afternoon, and veteran Brent Sutter also not in uniform for this one for the Blackhawks. That allows Craig Hartsburg. Here's Black a blast. He's got a great shot. He put that one up a little too high, and it took a funny hop off the glass and into the crowd.
That was a rocket.
He can really let her go, this kid, I'll tell you.
I liked his speed against the Red Wings the other night when I saw him on his off wing dashing down the boards, and that's the way to shoot the puck, young hockey players. Put everything you've got behind it. I mean, he smoked it, and Grant Fuhr was behind. He was actually past Fuhr before he moved. I think he surprised the veteran with the velocity of that shot.
Got 3 goals in 12 games since his recall, and he has surprised a couple of netminders with a very good shot.
Physically, he looks a lot like, and I don't mean from the face standpoint, but just the way he carries himself as a hockey player, like Steve Thomas of the New Jersey Devils. Left-hand shot. Not overly tall, but well put together, and good strong skater. And he's trying to win himself a regular spot in this hockey club.
I started to talk about it earlier. Craig Hartsburg has been very pleased with the way Black has performed since his recall, and talking about those guys that were given a rest here this afternoon. Hartsburg knows, and any coach knows, if you're going to make some noise in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you're going to need depth to be able to succeed. And Craig Hartsburg thinks he's got the pieces of this puzzle put together pretty well.
Well, I think we have a lot of the pieces that good teams want. I think we got good team speed. I think we have good size. We got a good defense and great goaltending. So I think the pieces are there. Now is getting it all together here for the run of the playoffs.
Speaking of that depth, Mickey, the Hawks today, a guy like Danton Cole, who's new to this organization, gets a chance to play a little bit. Ivan Dropa gets a chance to play a little bit. So the other night, Nicholls and Chelios were given a bit of a break in Detroit. So down the last few games here, the Hawks have tried to give some of their veteran players a chance to rest the bumps and bruises for the approach of the all-important postseason. We're down to 7 minutes left in the second period of this one, and all the scoring was done in the first. Adam Creighton for the Blues and Bernie Nicholls for the Blackhawks on a power play. Here comes Morrow over the line shooting. His shot deflected wide. Now back of the goal it goes. And got bumped by Davinsky. As they wrestle forward along the boards. Squirts loose, a long wrist shot by Morrow, and Fuhr gloves it and hangs on. Ethan Morrow, another youngster given a chance today, just 20 years old. Picked up his first NHL point the other night with an assist in Detroit, and there's a guy that this team feels is going to be a factor in the future.
Now we're talking about the rough games the Red Wings have played with the Blackhawks. Take a look here at the other night. The suspension handed down today. Pat will let the folks know. This was a melee at center ice, one of many in the hockey game, and Dino Ciccarelli went after Ciccone after he'd been whacked, I guess, and although Dino's had a hearing and there's been nothing announced on that, Ciccone composed himself pretty well there and not getting crazy. And but Bob Airy did get a 2-game suspension for a slash on Denis Savard later in that hockey game. And
here's McInnes, a long shot, and Belfour steers it to the corner. McInnes tries again. Belfour was hugging the post, and the rebound's controlled by Murphy. Joe Murphy has some room to the line. Centered one. Bouncing puck. Nicholls turns in behind. Got a pick from Amani. Put it out to Chelios. Here it comes. He was hoping for a tip from Amani. Didn't get it. Now Kearney centered. Deflected over the stick of Nicholls. And now into the corner it goes. Nicholls gave it to Amani. Only Amani. It's help from Chelios in the corner. Sweeps it back to the line. Murphy. And it's to Chelios. He's checked by Gretzky, and now into the corner it goes. Joe Murphy and the loose, but it went right to Hull. And finally the Blues are able to clear it to center. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here against Chicago. The play, Tony Amani caught for an elbow at the 14:36 mark. The first penalty of this second period. I think indicative of what you were mentioning earlier, that we've certainly seen more passion at different times.
Only 5 penalties called in the first period. 3 to St. Louis, 2 to Chicago. So this evens them up 3-3. This elbow away from the play. Gretzky and Chelios went to the boards and right in front of the penalty box as the whistle blew. So Andy Van Hellemond, I think he has a plane to catch as well. And he's keeping things moving pretty good. He's getting lots of help because neither team seems to be in the mood to go after each other. And result things moving along rather quickly here today. Only 5:24 to go in the second period. 1-1 game, and the Blues on the power play. They need a point or two. The Hawks just want to get the playoffs started and start healthy.
Now the draw. They're back into the St. Louis zone. Unger and Noonan are the point men here. Zezel, Courtnall, and Anderson up in front for St. Louis. Now Zezel gets the line, put it to Anderson. He centered one. It's tipped into the corner, and Keith Kearney got to it, clearing.
Gretzky line pad had finished that shift just before the penalty. I'm sure Mike Keane's going to use them in the second half of this power play.
Zezel sending it in, hoping for Courtnall. He lost it, and Chelios fires it around the boards and out. There's been some funny hops off these partitions today when the puck is up around the glass. Here's Gretzky coming off the bench. Centered one. Courtnall was checked nicely by Chelios. Gretzky feeding Kravchuk across to Noonan. Back to Kravchuk, feeding Gretzky. He looks, put it to Kravchuk, a one-timer, and it deflected just wide of the near post. And Kearney picked it up with time and room, clearing. Oh, he didn't get it out. Noonan did a great job to keep it in. And Chelios chopped at it, and it bounced free to center ice. Noonan for Kravchuk over the line. Igor Kravchuk rings it around the boards. Brett Hull put it in behind the goal. There's Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky feeding Kravchuk. Moved it back, and the return pass didn't connect. Now Kravchuk bounced it to Hull. Brett Hull back to the line. He mishandled it. And it would have been offside. Did the whistle blow? I guess not. So play goes on. And that enables Chelios to clear it easily. And now as the Blues start away, the Hawk penalty over. Both teams are at full strength. As Hull is checked. Here come the Hawks looking to counter. Davinsky races in there. He dropped it to Amani, and a bad pass. He never got it to him. Here comes Creighton, 2-on-1. Creighton with Hull. He moves in there, shooting. And a save by Belfour. He didn't know he made it. He took the anxious look behind, but he had control of the puck. Because of that, we're still tied. This replay is brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Great scoring chance by Adam Creighton. He's had several for Mike Keenan's Blues today. Uses Brett Hull as a decoy. And Eddie looked behind him, thinking, oh, have I got it or don't I? A 1-1 game.
Belfour's had a terrific second period, reflecting the fact that the Blues need this game more desperately than the Hawks do. 14 shots for St. Louis here in period 2, 4 for Chicago.
You know, that you look at the situation, and I mean, it could mean, it's unbelievable what it could mean. Just one little break, one little bounce, one little play to give the Blues a win here. It could mean home ice, extra everything, momentum, extra games, a lot of money. I mean, a lot of everything. All tied up in maybe one good shot. That's the way they like to talk about it.
Bouncing puck. Here didn't see it as it hopped right through the goal crease. And now Savard got bumped by Courtnall. And Savard came out of there with it. Savard danced to the slot, out of the backhand, cuts in, shoots. It's blocked off against Probert. He couldn't corral the bouncing puck. Back of the goal it goes. Now McGinnis pushed it up the near side. Ciccone. And it knocked away by Corson. Back to center. And the Hawks send it in there. Dane Corson able to work his way to center, cleared it to Hull, and Brett Hull was in ahead of the play. Brett Hull has been hampered by a hamstring problem in the late going of this regular season, but closing in on that 500-goal plateau. 485 lamplighters in his career.
They call him the Golden Brett, and of course his dad was the Golden Jet. His dad was in the stadium before. Look at this picture, Pat.
Yeah.
1968, I believe it was. Brett is on the right at 4 years old. And let me see, I had to write this down. Bobby
his
and I were
brother
chatting.
Blake is on the left.
Bobby's in the middle, who's the oldest son. Blake is next, and the youngest is Brett. And that was at a Christmas party, I guess, at the old Chicago Stadium in 1968.
Something the Blackhawks do every year right before Christmas time. They have a day where the players bring their families. All the kids can come down to the rink and go for a little skate for an hour or two. And they have a big lunch for everybody. Santa Claus shows up. It's a great day for the kids.
Well, this guy shoots the puck like his dad did. Bobby, of course, has the big slap shot that was patented, and Brett juice to this shot, I think, a lot more than Bobby ever did. But both of them score goals better than most people have ever played this game.
Now here's Pronger. He's able to advance it, and here comes Amati on right wing back over the line. Amati, deep slot, a touch pass from Murphy, hit his skate though, and out comes Wayne Gretzky. The Blues captain feathers one ahead. Murphy had his check well covered Mateau. And now Joe Murphy was taken down behind the net. The puck spurts free, and Bernie Nicholls able to bounce it out to center where Amati. And there as we go to the final minute of the second period. Now it's into the blue zone. Chance chasing to the corner. Leaves it there. Black. His pass hit his skate. Back of the goal coming. Center chance. Oh, and his shot, I think, was stopped by Fuhr, or did he just shoot it wide? A great chance for the Hawks. But unable to finish. And the game still is tied at 1. The puck is cleared to the neutral area. In Cummins. Lifted ahead. Too far for Chance. And it winds up on the stick of Carney, then it goes away from him. Here comes Leach. Leach over the line. Center one, Chelios. And a tree, and now into the corner it goes. Back to the line. Barron fanned on a one-timer. Out comes Black. James Black fires a long one, and that hit Barron. And that's going to do it for the second period. Coming up during the second intermission, JB and Dave Maloney bring you all the scores and highlights. That's coming up during the second intermission on Fox. In this game happened in the first period. Adam Creighton started the lamp lighting for St. Louis, and then the Hawks cashed in on a power play goal from Bernie Nicholls, and both Grant Fuhr and Ed Belfour very strong in that second period, particularly Belfour, because St. Louis had the better of the play.
I'm surprised. Of course, Chicago, you know, again, we point out, has nothing to play for except let's just stay healthy. They've only got shots on goal of 12, and the Blues, of course, with the 24. So I expect the Blues will try to pick it up without exposing themselves much at their own end here in the third period.
Well, Mike Keenan knows this is an important game for St. Louis.
Well, I think that would be important for us, and we can control our own fate here with the win today, so it's a big game for us, more so than Chicago. I don't think they can make any adjustments in terms of where they finished, and for that reason, the game is of huge value for us in terms of getting home ice advantage, and at the same time, building some continuity with our team.
Meanwhile, the Chicago Blackhawks, we know they're locked into the third seed, but you touched on it earlier, Mick. They've had a couple of real barn burners, I guess you'd say, with Detroit this week. And Bernie Nicholls knows that with the postseason rolling around, discipline is going to become a little bit more important.
Yeah, I think so. You know that to be successful in the playoffs, you got to be disciplined. You got to learn to turn your back, and you got to be aggressive, but you can't be stupid. You can't be taking bad penalties, and we definitely can't do that.
The 40-minute summary comes to you from our friends at Bud Ice. And here are the numbers. In the second period, 14-5, the Blues outshot the Blackhawks, and they have now doubled up the Chicago shot total. And the rest of it, you can see everything is relatively close, as is the scoreboard, as close as you can get. 1-1 is the count. Next Sunday on the NHL on Fox, follow the Fox tracks as the race for the Stanley Cup begins. Don't miss all the action and excitement as the best players in the league vie for the most historic prize in all of sport. Coverage begins at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox. And here we go with period 3. There's the Hawks' Chelios. Trying to feed Murphy, but he was in there ahead of the play.
And only 1 point. That if the Blues have to here, they're going to protect the tie if they have that choice, because 1 point would bump them up over top of Calgary and Vancouver, who are finished the season last night with their 82nd game. And that would actually put St. Louis into 6th or 5th spot rather. And then it would depend on what Winnipeg does tonight with 78 points playing Anaheim. They could go to 80 with a win and have the wins advantage over St. Louis. So the Blues would either be 5th or 6th.
Here's Joe Murphy with a chance. Fires! He shot it wide to the short side. And now the Hawks trying to hold it in. Didn't quite do it, they say, and the offside whistle sounds. And they're going to rule this an intentional offside against the Hawks and move the draw all the way back the other way.
Bernie tried to disguise it. He looked over his shoulder to see if anybody was watching him. Bernie knows he's been around this league long enough. Everybody's watching you, Bernie, and he's arguing about it. He's crafty, but you know what? These linesmen might have been born at night, but not last night. They saw exactly what he was thinking. Bernie Nicholls, a real loosey-goosey kind of guy. Kind of got his head in a little hot water right before the trade deadline. He spoke out and said, we want management here to make some moves, and then he had to defend that, saying, I didn't mean we want to get rid of some of the guys that are my teammates now, but let's try to help our team as much as we can with additional guys. But he's a very likable guy, Bernie Nicholls, and I don't think he meant and intended to hurt anybody with that comment, but wants to win.
Here comes Brett Hull with a shot. Belfour stopped him. Rebound back to the corner where Chelios able to win the puck away from Corson and clear it into St. Louis territory. And now Kravchuk around the boards, not out. Chelios threw it in there deep. Almonte leaves it for Nicholls. He's got Murphy, but the pass didn't get there as Pronger made a nice steal. And here comes Shane Corson to go wide on Ciccone. Ciccone then battles to the corner and pass deflecting to Enrico Ciccone. He was tied up along the corner boards and works loose to Chelios. Now Nicholls. Or Amani, the return pass. Nicholls at about 6. Came in for a big save by Fuhr on Daze, who got a fortunate bounce. The puck hopped right to him, and he unloaded in a heartbeat. And Fuhr beat him with a dandy sock. Now Brian Noonan able to clear it. Savard for Probert, side of the net, trying to muscle it home. He scored! Bob Probert just fooling his way to the front of the net, and somehow popped it by Grant Fuhr, and the Hawks lead 2-1. And for Bob Probert, 6 goals in his last 7 games.
Now the big boy's got 19 now. They'll be trying to get him that 20th goal. You can bet the last 18 minutes of this hockey game. And Probert, with that huge size of his, 6'4", he actually banked it in there. You see it off the pad, the left pad of Grant Fuhr, who had the legs open just a little bit. He was protecting the short side. And Probert banked it off the left pad, over and back in behind Fuhr, just barely over the line for his 19th goal of the year, and a 2-1 Chicago lead.
Bob Probert's 19th of the year, assisted by Dennis Savard, the 100th point for Savard in his career against St. Louis. And the Hawks have the lead for the first time today at 2-1. And Gary Suter mounts one to the St. Louis line. Jay Well. Heard it to Huddy. Now Zezel. Zezel fires a long shot. The Belfour stops easily to Suter. The Blues want a quick change, and Gary Suter up the left side to Chance, sending it in there. There, bumped in the corner, and Hull came away with it. Red Hull carries it over the line, put it to Gretzky. He weaves into the slot, slipped it over to Barron on the backhand, who shoots, and he shot it wide. Rebound to the Hawks, might have a chance to counter. Chance, oh, what a recovery by Gretzky. Hawks looked like they were off with an odd man rush, and Gretzky got in the passing lane and made a fine steal. Now Chance able to send Amani to center. His touch pass didn't click. Kravchuk the other way. Chelios put him up beautifully at the blue line. And it's cleared into St. Louis ice. Joe Murphy hustling in there, and he's ruled to be offside on the play. It's early in the third. The Hawks have grabbed the lead. The man who who just put the Blackhawks in front, Bob Probert. Mickey, we touched on his hot streak. 6 goals in his last 7 games, and he'd love to get that 20th. He said at the start of the year he'd love to reach the 20-goal plateau. But he, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, has not only been an outstanding player, he has actually dominated games at different times.
He's picked it up physically, Pat, too,
Yeah.
and keeping out of the box by himself. Well, Hawk fans are, and I'm sure his teammates are finding out firsthand what we saw in Detroit for several years, and he had a great set of hands for a big, tough guy that spent a lot of time in the box.
In the Hawk zone, Russell gets help from Daze. Taking it to the Blues line. Captured there by Stefan Matteau. He looks for Kravchuk. And Noonan picked it up. His pass deflecting to the Blues. In front, Matteau. A shot. Belfour. Please stop Matteau twice. And the puck is cleared the other way. It'll be icing against Chicago as Matteau was thwarted by the Eagle.
Those were 2 fine saves by Eddie Belfour, and you can see Mike Keenan and Bob Berry in behind the players' bench over on the St. Louis side, just shaking their heads like, boy, oh boy, what do we got to do to get another one behind Eddie Belfour? 28 shots now for the Blues, only 14 for the Hawks, and the Hawks lead it 2-1. There's 1, there's 2, and again, it means even a tie for the Blues here. Could be a major advantage for them down the line.
Well, Mickey, that type of thing, I imagine, is going on all season long for St. Louis. The goal they have today is their 218th goal of the year. Nobody in the Western Conference has scored fewer than that, and only 2 teams in the entire NHL have scored fewer than that. Brett Hull has 43 goals. Nobody else has more than 23 for St. Louis. That really puts a premium on your defensive play and the fact your goaltender just can't make a mistake. Here's McInnes, a blast right on Belfour. And now McInnes, for a long time, has had one of the biggest guns in the NHL. He had time to tee that one up.
He's got a rocket from back there. He got good form. Al McInnes gets good leverage. He has hurt some goaltenders in the past with that shot of his. Very heavy shot.
He's hurt some players, some skaters who almost ended their career. Mark Tenorti, those slappers hit him in the
back of the leg
area.
Yeah.
The leg. Now Stephen Leach. Put it in there deep. Courtnall came up with it, looks for Zezel on the end boards. He battles with Chance in center, but the pass deflects. And James Black couldn't catch up to it. Zezel behind the Hawk net. He tried to feed Leach, it didn't get there. Now Leach back to it on the near side, put it right, Courtnall right in, he scores! Geoff Courtnall, as the Hawks had control, failed to get it out. And the Blues, Courtnall makes them pay. We're tied.
Well, that bench was just up instantly when Courtnall broke into the open. And fans are not happy that Leach knocked Chelios down, then picked up the puck, made a perfect play to Courtnall, who had squeezed himself open in front of the net. And there was no penalty call on the play. Perfect pass by Leach and a nice touch by Geoff Courtnall. As Belfour fell to his right, Courtnall went back to his left and just tucked it in the far side. 2-2 hockey game. That may have hit the pad of Belfour, but still found its way in between the 6x4. And we are tied with 14:54 to go in the 3rd period. 2-2.
Stephen Leach gets the only assist on that Geoff Courtnall goal at the 5:06 mark. And that's the guy, Mickey, the Blues will badly need to come through in the playoffs. Courtnall, that's his 312th career goal in his 13th year in the league.
Plays it rugged, boy. Comes to play. Involved in a lot of big hits. He takes them and he gives them.
Blackhawks may agree with that, but they might suggest that very rarely does he do it from the front. Courtnall, the man who knocked Roenick out for a few games with A devastating hit just as Roenick was scoring a goal. Here's the draw, cleared in behind the Blues net. On the near side, Nicholls centered one. Murphy the shot. Big save by Fuhr. And he's going to gather it in to gain a whistle.
Hawks looking for another call there, or a call on that play, as Amante seemed to be taken down or hauled down in front of Grant Fuhr. Joe Murphy with a pretty easy looking shot, but Fuhr was in a strange position and just let it hit his pads. You never know, young hockey players out there. It doesn't have to be a hard shot, boy. Just get it on the net sometimes, and some of the easiest looking goals. You catch a goalie, you know, moving his feet or whatever it is, or going up. When he's going up with his body, he can't move his feet to the sides or sneaks in between the pads, Pat. You got to get it on the net.
Hardly anybody would suggest that where Bob Probert shot that one, the goal from would be a great scoring chance, and it went in the net.
Absolutely. You just never know. If you got nothing else to do with it, get it on the net. When you're around that net, keep your stick on the ice. That's how you score goals.
6 minutes gone by here in the third. Each team has a goal in this period, and it's a 2-2 game. Al McGinnis is past the fucking Tallard capture, stepped in there, fakes, dropped it back. Chalio center. Oh, it didn't get to Dante. He was wide open, and the Blues looked to counter. Noonan had it stripped away by Ciccone, who made a fine defensive play. Chalio's rolled it up the boards to Savard. Savard puts Ciccone to the line. He unloads. Offside is the call. Along with Mickey Redmond, Pat Foley in the United Center, along with 22,499. Witnessed the Hawks and Blues battle to a 2-2 standoff to this point. 13 minutes remaining in regulation time. The Blues miscue on a pass. His slides the length for icing. The Blues, Mickey, not only would like to solidify their playoff positioning. Obviously, as you mentioned, they can go anywhere from 4th to 8th. Here's a team that has 1 win in the last 11 games, and that's not exactly putting a lot of wind in your sails going into the playoffs.
Well, you put together two things there. One is a ton of new players this year that haven't had a lot of time to play together. And then a lot of those players have been on the injured list. They've been out. Gretzky, Hull, Corson, Fuhr, just to name the 4 biggest ones. And there again is your last 10 games.
Talking to assistant coach Roger Nielsen before the game, Mick, I said, asked him who's playing. He said everybody's going to get into the lineup here today. When's the last time you had a full roster? He said, we haven't.
Yeah.
Here it is, the 82nd game. Oh, it's in the Hawk zone. Here's McGinnis moving in, fires. He put it up high and wide. And Leach rolled it in deep. Courtnall flipped it in front. A shot that just missed the near post from Leach. Now in behind the goal, Courtnall. That's bumped by Dropa. Bill centered it. Leach a shot. That missed the target.
Well, Belfour just took a swipe at Zezel. I don't think he wants to be doing that.
Oh, and Van Hellemond just went over and said something to Belfour. Yes, he did.
Yeah. Well, a goaltender should be thinking about playing goal, not about whacking people. That gets them off their game. He took a pretty good swipe at him.
Moving time after time. You come into the Eagles nest, you're gonna have a few bee stings. Here's Gretzky with room, cuts in there, the backhand, elbow, save, and it rolled past him, but through the crease and out. And now the Hawks have iced it.
How close did that one come to going in the net? We'll take a look when we come back. 11:47 to go. It's 2-2.
This replay is brought to us by Pizza Hut.
That's Eddie Belfour right in front. Take a left hook at Peter Zezel. He missed him, and Pat, that's why Andy Van Hellemond went over and said, one more like that, Eddie, and you're coming out of the nest and going to the bottom of the tree.
Here's Gretzky, slipped it in front. He didn't connect with Hull, though, and it deflects to center where Amante feeds Joe Murphy. Got over the line, Pronger. And a nice sweep check there, and Chris Pronger is deep in his own end. A difficult year for that young blue liner. He's incurred the wrath of the Blues fans. wasn't his fault. He was traded for one of the most popular players, but that's what happened. And he has struggled in the better part of this regular season, Pronger. Now Gretzky digs it loose. Here's a backhand. It didn't get through. Chelios hounded by Hall. Now they battle along the boards, and Nicholls jammed it free. Not out. Amati is sandwiched on the near side. Gretzky into the corner. Here's Hall now centering, and nobody home for the Blues. Out comes Amati. Amati tried to feed Murphy. He tapped it in as the Hawks need a change. McInnes bounced it in. Carney gave it to Probert. Couldn't get it out. McInnes with a long shot. Oh, good save by Belfour. Through a Creighton screen. Rebound Barron. His shot deflecting to Savard. And then Savard failed to clear it. Now into the corner. Creighton. Carney stepped into him, and they both hit the deck. And Carney quickly back up, has control. And then Probert missed. Oh, and Belfour just recovered in time to stop McInnes. Rebound Creighton. Moving in. Belfour lunging. Able to prevent a shot with a diving poke check. Now the Blues keep the heat on. Here's McInnes. A long wrist shot. Belfour stopped it. Rebound right to him, and he's going to hang on.
Oh, big
furious challenge by the Blues.
Big time pressure by St. Louis to get the lead here with 9:42 to go. And somehow they managed to tie up Big Adam Creighton, or he probably puts the Blues ahead. All alone in front of Belfour. Nobody around except the goaltender when the puck came to him. There he is, in behind Carney, and he just can't get the handle, and it's Belfour that stops him with the goal stick and allows his teammates there to get some help. That was like a power play for the Blues for about 30-40 seconds there. McInnes almost snuck it in the short side pad. I don't think Belfour saw the shot. He was screened on the play. He just got to the short side goal post as that puck was arriving there.
Fine save earlier, too, as Creighton screened him on a long blast from the near side.
34 St. Louis shot. Chicago 15. That tells the story on who needs points and who doesn't.
They're halfway through the third now, and Belfour's fine play has kept his team tied. Here's Leach centering it, deflects to the line and away from Kravchuk to center. Geoff Courtnall waiting for his teammates to get onside. Able to Kravchuk, sending it around the board. Jezel bounces it loose. Dropa picks it up for Chicago, and managed to clear it to center. We're coming. Scoops it in there. To the right side, and Leach clearing it ahead. Courtnall into the Hog zone. Shoots one. Belfour got a piece with a glove. Didn't grab it cleanly, but now it's clear. Then Chelios and Courtnall behind the play. Here goes Van Hellemond to say something to him, and they have difficulty separating. And now they're both going to go. Andy Van Hellemond saw enough. He's going to send them both off. We're tied at 2 in the third. Geoff Courtnall and Chris Chelios dueling one another. Will get coincidental roughing penalties, and we'll go with 4 skaters aside. Hall and Gretzky out there for St. Louis with Pronger and McInnes. Chicago has Nicholls and Murphy in front of Carney and Suter. Gary Suter. On it to Nicholls. Looking for Murphy. Gets to it in the corner. Pronger trying to look after it there. And does so nicely. And out comes McInnes. Now McInnes. Tries it ahead. Gretzky trying to get away from Nicholls. He did. And he shot one, went right through the goal crease.
The move he made?
Yeah. Here's McInnes, a long shot. Tipped right on. Belfour stopped it. Gretzky redirected that. Wayne Gretzky, I think, Mickey, this may be the most underrated portion of his game, his ability to forecheck and check people and give them problems when the other guys got the puck.
He sure gave the slip to Bernie Nicholls on this play. Bernie knew he was there, and he had to cover him. However, look at Wayne. He faked him to the outside, went around the inside, and got the puck. And he missed the net, however, but created a scoring chance because of it. That's just his smarts, allowing him to get that scoring chance.
And Then a neat deflection right after that Belfour had to be strong with.
Wayne Gretzky normally is 2 and 3 steps ahead of most other guys, and that's why he's been such a great player. That ability to outthink most people, and he's thinking about something he's going to do a half hour from now while he's doing something else and doing it well.
Now Charlie Huddy. The center, Amati broke that one up and ends up back in the Blues zone. Tony and Corson have words, but alertly linesman Dan McCourt stepped in between and the play goes on. Here comes Kravchuk. Ropa knocked him down along the boards. Then it came loose. Anderson chopped at it, didn't connect. Hawks have a chance to counter. Here comes Savard up the left side. Has the line, weaves to the slot, fakes, then tried to shoot one and rolled right into the crease. And then a couple of players went crashing into the goal, and Amati is drawing some attention from Corson, who is upset for some reason, and appears they'll be able to calm down for the moment.
Kravchuk
Conclusion, I'm sorry, Mick, I was going to mention that at the conclusion of this one, you and I are going to pick the new Dodge player of the game.
Kravchuk got caught on that play up when he got taken down by Dropa in the far corner, and Courtnall did a heck of a job to hustle back and nullify Amante, and that's when they got all tied up and just continued right into Grant Fuhr and knocked the net off the moorings, and they're still jawing at each other as they go to the bench. It was almost a 2-on-1, and Amante is as quick as anybody in the league, so good job by Corson to stay up with the speedy Amante. 2-2 here.
And this man has had an outstanding second half. 31 goals now, and he was one of those guys that was up among the league leaders in chances through Christmas time and just didn't get any puck luck. Couldn't seem to finish, but in the second half, he's been very strong for the Blackhawks.
That speed can make up for a lot of problems in this game, boy. Or to make mistakes and recover.
Suter to Savard, but it bounced away from him to center. Half a minute remaining on the coincidental penalty. Kearney moved it to Savard. He gains the line. Savard, a shot and a save by Fuhr. Rebound Barron. Able to send it out to center. Gretzky well covered there by Kearney. And now Savard over the line, trying to center it. It didn't connect. And Brett Hull. Got help from Gretzky, who gains the Hawk line. Gretzky tried to center. Hull had it at his feet, couldn't find it. Barron does and shoots. Belfour with the blocker. Now the coincidentals are over. Both teams at full strength. Here's Hull trying to stuff it in. Belfour able to hold him off. Brad Hull with his 5th shot on goal of the game. Had a good chance as he was unmolested coming from behind the net.
Nobody there except Belfour again, and by the time they get finished counting here before we get back to the face-off, the Blues might have 40 shots. They're listed for 38 on the board now. They have thrown everything but the kitchen sink at Eddie Belfour. Chris Chelios got one of his very patented elbows in on that play. There's Daddy, Bobby Hull. Upstairs here at the United Center, watching son Brett. Seen him play several times down in St. Louis. And of course, Bobby Hull, only one of them, one of him really, Pat.
No question about it.
He was something else. I played a little bit. Bobby and I were laughing downstairs before the game. I was just a kid in Montreal, and Bobby knocked me over. He's a sorry kid. Went by me and then ripped a shot past my leg, and I could feel the breeze. That slap shot. It's a nice thing not to play. I remember I said to Bobby, I said, I remember a time in Chicago Stadium, Claude Provo used to check Hull on a regular basis, and Claude either was cut or got hurt or something, had to go off, and I wasn't much of a checker coming out of junior. Bobby said, yeah, good check your hat, eh? And I said, they put me out in the ice against you, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get a head start on this guy. You know how Hull used to go back and wind up in his own end behind the net?
Yeah.
I waited at center for him. By the time he got to our blue line, we were even. And I said, now I got him now. Oh, he was quite a hockey player.
The Mickey Redmond school of checking.
Yeah,
Give the guy a 100-foot head start.
Absolutely. Me, I needed the head start.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But he was big and strong, Bobby Hull, and he could shoot the puck.
Well, and he had that charisma that
Did he ever?
really more modern-day athletes could take a page, or could do well to take a page out of his book, he always had time for the fans. He was one of those guys that, however many autograph seekers there were, that's how long he'd stay. It was just legendary stories at the old Chicago Stadium about him being there 45 minutes, an hour after games, people still coming up to him, and he would accommodate everybody.
With a great smile. You could just see the bottom of his face there upstairs, but a real infectious smile. And Brett has really taken a page from his dad's book in enjoying the game. They criticized Brett Hull for smiling a lot, relaxing, saying, hey, it's only a game of hockey. You can still play hard if you smile and sing a little song when the pressure's not on.
That's why everybody anticipated when Mike Keenan was hired there'd be a real problem between Hull and Keenan, and to some degree I suppose that has come true, but not to the level that I think everybody might have expected. Because you said, I think Brett is one of those guys like Bobby. You know, life's too short. This is a game. You got to enjoy this thing. It is. It's a business.
Nobody says, Pat, that you can't work hard and be effective and have fun at it. But a lot of the old school said you can't do that. You gotta be serious.
Here comes Nicholls for a body. Bouncing puck. He couldn't quite corral it. And now McGinnis figures to center, and Gretzky slipped it ahead to Noonan. Noonan around to Chelios, cutting in there. He couldn't get much on the shot, and Chelios going to get a penalty as Noonan gave him the old stop and go move.
Yeah. Pretty nice move by Noonan. Yeah, the old system didn't want you to have any fun at all. You know, Bernie Nicholls is a guy like that. Good example on the Hawks. Chelios not with so much outwardly, because he doesn't smile a ton. He's got that mean on all the time, but inside he's quite a character.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Hockey League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this telecast, including the imposition of a charge for viewing this telecast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League, is against the law.
5:22 on the clock here. 2-2 hockey game. Hawks and Blues with St. Louis on the power play now. Chelios in the box for holding Brian Noonan, and again the Blues need at least a point, and they guarantee themselves to stay out of 7th or 8th spot and play Colorado or Detroit. A win puts them into 4th.
Here's the draw to Kravchuk. He shoots one. Belfour far left, rebound right in the crease, and Suter jammed it out of there. Now Pronger held it in, and they Blues look to keep the heat on. Zezel's pass stolen though by Kearney, and the Hawks plus-minus leader Keith Kearney sends it back the other way. He has had a terrific season for Chicago. Blues dump it in. Courtnall centered one. Too hot to handle. Zezel tipped it, but wide. Kearney back in the goal against 3 Blues. He's trying to get a whistle. And Van Helleman reluctantly does sound the whistle, as Courtnall didn't like. In fact, the play was stopped. Geoff Courtnall knows that he's a veteran, and he knows that the postseason is when the special teams have to shine.
Well, I think definitely having Wayne Gretzky here now is really going to help us with Brett there. We've got to try to get Brett the puck more and get his shot off. I think Al McInnes as well has got the big shot. We haven't really done that consistently all year. I think the power play probably has cost us a lot of games in the playoffs. Special teams win a lot of hockey games, so we've got to start, you know, being a lot better out there on that.
Said to Mike Keenan when he came in right after Geoff Courtnall, you know, I said, you know, what do you, any ideas on your power play? He said, well, let me tell you though, Mick, we've been 21% since '99 got here, so we've been a lot better. Yeah. He's right on top of his stats and stuff, you know. They were a very poor 15 before that. Wayne Gretzky, if he's healthy, is probably at least good for your team for a point or for a goal a game, right out of the gate. Not out of play, but I mean, with his ability to make plays and the smarts that he's shown earlier in this period, even, I mean, he's got a lot of hockey left in him, and they get the puck to this man, Brett Hull. He's one of the best natural goal scorers this league has ever seen. a great release.
It's the familiarity that has been eluding this team. You know, these guys have been put together in a large part late in the season, and obviously the great one didn't get to St. Louis until right before the trading deadline.
If you look at that, of the elements of that line with Corson, you got Gretzky, a great playmaker, Brett Hull, a great scorer, and Corson's a mucker and a digger. He doesn't mind going in the corners and setting stuff up. I mean, it's a good combination if you can get them timed together and get comfortable with each other. We're going to see a lot of ice time for Mike Keenan in the playoffs. You know that.
This power play, though, is not getting a whole lot going yet. It has 40 seconds left as Corson rolled it into the corner. The great one's there, steps in behind the net. Doubled it out to the line. Kravchuk, his return pass. Carney knew what was coming. He had position and possession. Gave it to Amandi, who clears it. Here's Chris Pronger. Rolled it in there. Hall gave it back, and Pronger threw it behind the goal. Suter had it knocked loose. Here's a stop shot from Hall and a save by Belfour. That developed very quickly, and Belfour alertly got to the near post at the last moment.
Puck was deflected off a skate, I think, right back into Belfour. I don't think they'll count that as a shot. But Eddie Belfour and the Hawks just can't wait for Wednesday. Let's get out of here, and whoever we play, so be it. Wednesday night, the Hawks will start. Part of the schedule has been released, Pat. The rest of it will be released tomorrow. Playoffs open Tuesday for some and Wednesday for the others.
Hawks will have games in the United Center on Wednesday and Friday, and that's all they know at this point. They don't know who they'll be playing. They don't know when they'll play after that.
Even some of the same conferences open on a different day.
Yeah.
Colorado starts on Wednesday, or Tuesday rather. Red Wings open at home on Wednesday. And it's all over the board. Basically, there's some building problems, I understand, that they had to resolve, and conflicts in that department.
The Chicago penalty now is over, and both teams are at full strength. The Blues unable to cash in on that advantage opportunity, and we're down to 3.5 left in the third period. 2-2 the count. A giveaway to Mateau. He bounced one toward the net. Belfour sticks it aside. Now Mateau again steals another Savard pass. Got it along the board to Noonan. He leaves it there. Russell came up with it, and then Daze passed on him up. McGinnis, the shot, save, rebound, just away from Mateau. He was all alone in front of the goal crease, but couldn't corral that rebound chance. Now Savard into the St. Louis zone. Al McGinnis. The left wing board. Zazzle tried to kick to the stick. It didn't work, but then Courtnall fires one. And a save by Belfour. The rebound controlled by Shan. Gains the line and lost the puck as it cleared to center. And the Hawks dump it in. That save by Ed Belfour a moment ago, his 40th of the game. Fuhr has made 15 stops at the other end. Each team with 2 goals. Here's Carney getting a rough ride behind the net. It's stolen. Center shot. Belfour brought it off to the left arm. Courtnall with a one-timer. Now into the corner it goes. Leach jammed the loose. Courtnall cuts in. Fires. Belfour stopped that. Rebound cleared to the near side. And Black tips it back to center. Clemens racing. But Pronger beat him to it. Here comes Courtnall. Gains the line, left it for Gretzky, shooting, and a save by Belfour. He would like to catch his breath, now decides to play it though. What a performance by Chicago's number 30. Here's Black in over the Blues line, centered one, then it came back to him. And McKinnon able to tie it up and knock him down. Gretzky putting McKinnon over the line. Threw it in behind the goal. Hall centered, it deflects to the slot. Bouncing puck, Belfour, the same rebound. Belfour stops Hall. Rebound to the far board. And the Blues unable to corral it. Kelios does. And his pass stolen by McKinnon. Gretzky over the line. He Corson shooting. Belfour the save. And Gretzky slamming his stick on the end board in disgust and maybe disbelief. And Belfour on fire. And it's still tied at 2.
Well, the Blues trying to figure, how do we do it? You see there, the most shot they've had all season. Everything but the kitchen sink has come at Eddie the Eagle. There's the last couple. Gretzky to Corson. Belfour saved. Gretzky rebound, and that goes over to Fred Hull, who had a shot after that. 47 shots on goal. 2-2 hockey game here with 56.4 seconds to go. The Blues will take the tie. However, they'd love to have the 2 points. They have a better win record. Pardon me, I misspoke. Toronto has a better win record than St. Louis. Toronto with 80 points, and they're done now. The Blues would move to 80, but not get 4th place because Toronto has won 2 more games than St. Louis. So the Blues would be at 80, waiting the outcome of the Winnipeg game. They've got 78, play Anaheim tonight. And Winnipeg has more wins than St. Louis. So the worst thing that could happen would be that St. Louis on a tie then would end up in 6th position and play Chicago, Pat.
Well, that's the thing. We said it was the least likely of the scenarios at the start of this game.
Right.
But if this does finish in a tie and the Jets win their game later, this is the first round matchup, Chicago against St. Louis. But still, there's 56 seconds left in regulation time here. We'll have a face-off in the Chicago zone.
Coming into this game today, the Hawks have won 2 games in St. Louis. The Blues 2 in here in Chicago.
Now Gretzky and Nicholls in the draw. Fought for and kicked to the corner. Chelios under pressure there from Kravchuk. Now in behind the net. Puck comes back to the near side. And Gretzky came out of there centering and hit the skate of Murphy. Over to the far corner, Chelios couldn't get to it. Hull back of the goal. Red Hull on the backhand shoots, and a save by Belfour. He lunges for it and managed to corral it among all the skates. Now the draw. The side of the net. Belfour sticks it away, and Nicholls able to clear it to center. Chelios bounced it up the boards, and you see the clock winding down as McInnes got it to Corson. Chelios had him well covered along the boards, and we are going to go to extra time in the United Center here today. Ed Belfour with a spectacular performance, and because of his fine work, the Blues, who have outplayed the Hawks, have a 2-2 tie. How about the third period? 24-5. St. Louis out shooting Chicago, and you see the numbers for the game: 48-17. The Blues out shooting the Blackhawks. And Ed Belfour has just been outstanding, or this could be a Blues runaway.
Well, there's the way she stands coming into today. The Blues tie. The worst they can finish at 6. That means they avoid Detroit and Colorado. That is their top priority. They will not open it up offensively here at the expense of their defense and maybe lose this game, because if they lose the game, they could play Detroit or Colorado. So they'll take the tie, I think, Pat. I'd be surprised if they do anything else, and hope to get a break and get the win and finish in 4th.
Well, they have been absolutely dominant in terms of positional play and scoring chances here, especially in the last 30 minutes or so of this game. But that number, 48 shots on goal, has got to be encouraging to the Blues. We mentioned their offensive struggles all season long. Only 2 teams in the league have scored fewer goals than they have. And there are the numbers in overtime. The Blackhawks have really had a dismal overtime record with 4 losses, just the 1 win.
Mike Keenan here, we got a delay, had spoken to Dan McCourt, the lineman, and he went down and checked something to the right of Eddie Belfour at the Chicago net. Not sure what the heck he was getting him to look at.
And now here's the draw. Taken by Ciccone. It out to center, and Barron flipped it to Hull, who gets the line, left it for Gretzky. He centered one. Here's a shot. Belfour the save as the Blues player Corson was taken to the ice. Now here's Gretzky, centered and a shot deflected wide by Corson. Hawks can't get the puck away from these guys. Corson got knocked down, still centered. Hull. His shot is blocked by Tellios. Rebound Gretzky. Belfour the save, and he holds on. And another St. Louis flurry is held off by Ed Belfour.
Red Hull standing there looking up at Eddie Belfour and saying, Eddie, just let us get one and we can get out of here. What are you doing? They're still talking and Brett's smiling at him. That's great. Big hit by Ciccone on Corson. He still got to his knees and made the play back in front. Gretzky shot save. And that should have been the 50th shot on goal, but they don't even give them credit for one of the two, I think, there. Belfour's seen enough of the blue jerseys. They end up playing this team in the playoffs, and he's going, think he'll sleep very well? Was thinking about Gretzky and Hull, Corson, Courtnall, McInnes, so that cannon back there.
You don't want to be sitting next to him on the plane. There might be a little twitching going on. He goes for the snooze. And I think the snow around the Hawk net is the concern of the St. Louis people, and Andy Van Hellemond working on that. So Zezel and Savard will get ready for the draw. Zezel's a good face-off man. He wins this to Kravchuk, whose shot doesn't get through, and Savard got spun around by Zezel. Neither man could get control. Then Daze did for Savard. Crisscrossing over the line. Savard trying to center, didn't get through to Daze. And Leach over to Courtnall. He sends it in. Ends up in behind the Hawk net. Leach battling with Probert. Puck lays loose, and Daze tipped it to the near board. Suter got bumped, and it's held in by Leach, who shoots. Belfour gloves it, and he's going to decide to play it to Daze. He sends it safely back the other way, but he got too much on it, and it's going to result in an icing call against Chicago. And this Gretzky line coming back on, it appears, and every other shift now is the situation for Keenan and the Blues for these guys.
I'd expect that out of Mike Keenan. I mean, once again, home ice could be a tremendous advantage.
Next, excuse me, but next Sunday on the NHL on Fox, follow the Fox Tracks as the race for the Stanley Cup begins. Don't miss all the action and excitement as the best players in the league vie for the most historic prize in all of sports. Coverage at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check your local listings. Here come the Hawks now. As Amandi carries it over the Blues line. Into the corner it goes. He centered it. Nicholls, well covered, dropped it to Ciccone. Shooting. That didn't get through. Here's the drive and a save by Fuhr and Amandi, who was trying to stuff it in from point-blank range. Now Shane Corson. 2 minutes gone by in extra time. A long feed to Hall at center. He's well covered and bounces loose to McInnes. Feeding Corson with room over the line. Cuts to the net. Fires. Belfour. Good save. Ciccone went down for the block and missed it. That's a tough chance for the netminder. The 50th shot on goal for the Blues. And Belfour able to hold him off again.
Big Adam Creighton out there that time with Hull and Shane Corson. Wayne Gretzky over on the bench of the Blues, and I'm wondering, is he getting worked on? I can't really tell from our location. Maybe not. Sort of sitting in behind the bench. No, he's not. Maybe just out of gas. He's been out there a lot. 2:53 to go here in the overtime.
Ed Belfour with a career record against St. Louis of 15, 13, and 4 is really giving the Blues fits here today. The Blues certainly deserve a better fate, but right now it's 2-2 in overtime. As Savard circles the Hawk net. Put it to the left side. Here comes Carney. Gains the line, left it for Probert. Fires, and he shot it wide. Rebound to the far side where Savard chipped it in deep. Probert is after it there. Probert going to roll off the end of his stick. And Adam Creighton fires it back into the Chicago zone, and it's going to be icing against St. Louis.
The Hawks just put a little bit of pressure on. That's about all they've had here in the overtime in almost 3 minutes. Blues kind of hemmed in a little bit in their own end here the last couple of shifts. Blues will go back home immediately after this hockey game, and then await to see what happens tonight with Anaheim and Winnipeg, and where they may be home, they may be on the road on Wednesday.
Mickey, today the new Dodge player of the game. Guess who? Mr. Ed Belfour. Dodge is proud to donate $1,000 in Belfour's name to the Amateur Hockey Association of his choice. A 48 save effort so far, and the Blackhawks and the Blues in OT because of his brilliant work. This is the 6th year in a row that Belfour has had 20 wins or more.
Outstanding performance today, that's for sure. 50 shots on goal for the Blues, the most they've had all year. Each shot sets the record, obviously. And they're still trying for 2 points here today. It puts them into 4th place and home ice advantage if they get the win.
Gary Suter to Black, whose pass is broken up. Now Courtnall leaves it for Leach, whose pass hit a leg and winds up back at center. Hit him! Here comes Russell. And he was stopped by McTavish. To Courtnall. Geoff Courtnall over the line. And then his pass deflecting into the corner. Leach got to it there. And then Chance got to him. Russell along the corner boards. And it squirts loose. Cummins couldn't find the handle. Comes free to the near side, and Black has Chance breaking. Oh, what a breakup by McInnes. His chance would have been gone, but McInnes made a great interception. Then Leach a shot and a save by Belfour. Rebound to Chicago's Carney, who cleared it to center ice. Bouncing there to the Hawks in Black. Got to the line. Got help from Cummins. Got spun around on the far side. And now we're heading into the final minute of this one. Here's Amani. Nearly stole it, but McInnes able to lift his stick nicely. Then Chelios jammed it free. Murphy couldn't handle it. Here come the Blues out. Gretzky has Hall with him. Gretzky over the line for Hall. Broken up by Carney. Heath Carney, a great defensive play, thwarting a 2-on-1 Blues rush. Now Gretzky around a check to the deep slot, centered it, bouncing puck in behind the goal it goes. Now Barron in there for Corson, centering. Hall couldn't pull the trigger. Jammed loose to Murphy. He comes racing to center ice. Barron looking to catch him. He did. And Murphy held the puck. Put it to the deep slot there. Suter around to check right in. He centered one. A shot. Fuhr. Lead off to the Blues. What a save by Fuhr and Amani to keep the Blues alive. Now Barron, who hauled a long shot and a save by Belfour. It's cleared to the near side. 5 seconds, 2 seconds, and this one is all over.
What a stop bat by Grant Fuhr. I believe it was Amante.
Yes.
Point blank opportunity that would have ended this hockey game, and that was Grant Fuhr's biggest save of the game. But Eddie Belfour made 50 saves in this hockey game. Here's the last opportunity with just seconds left. Excellent stop by Grant Fuhr. The Blues get the tie and avoid either Colorado and the Red Wings in the opening round.
Grant Fuhr made a huge stop in overtime to enable the Blues to remain tied. For Mickey Redmond, Pat Foley, hoping you enjoyed the broadcast from the United Center. 2-2 your final. Thanks for joining us on Fox.
Tonight, catch the sexiest, funniest, most outrageous commercials of the year on the Clio Awards, followed by The Simpsons, the new Fox comedy The Show, Married with Children, and Local Heroes. It all starts at 7, 6 Central, right here on Fox. Next Sunday, it's the NHL on Fox. Follow the Fox tracks as the race for the Stanley Cup begins. Don't miss all the action and excitement as the best players in the league vie for the most historic prize in all of sports. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check listings for the game and time in your area on Fox.
You've been watching Fox Sports, seen by most as being very, very cool.